These 6 factors about disappointment will direct your love life. You hold yourself to high standards and expect the same, if not more, from your significant other. In an intimate relationship, it is natural to rely on your partner for dependability, stability, and attentiveness. You may also anticipate that your partner will concur with you, at least occasionally, in various aspects of life. This could include your broader perspectives or decisions concerning finances, children, or time allocation, assuming that your partner will back you up in most instances. Likewise, you might presume that your partner will generally align with you on various social matters. While your partner's stance may lean slightly left or right from yours, mutual acceptance has always been the norm. However, if you discover that your partner strongly opposes your viewpoint following the turbulent first weeks of 2021, it may leave you questioning if a shared understanding and respect can ever be reestablished. In essence, feelings of disappointment in your partner can stem from any source, not just current events. You might perceive your partner as betraying you if they neglect previously agreed upon household tasks. Perhaps your partner overspends online shopping, disregards healthy eating or exercise habits, or solely engages in video games. You might interpret these actions as a dismissal of your values and priorities. In a 2019 article, Ilian Sommerfeld from Ariel University states that disappointment is one of the most frequent and intense emotions people experience in close relationships. Despite its prevalence in romantic partnerships, there is a surprising lack of research on the subject. Sommerfeld conducted 4 studies to explore disappointment in close relationships, ultimately developing the 6-factor questionnaire to characterize individuals who are frequently let down. Sommerfeld identifies 2 types of disappointments in intimate relationships. Outcome-related disappointment occurs when your expectations are unmet, such as believing your favored sports team should have easily won a match. On the other hand, person-related disappointment arises when you feel let down by your partner. Various distressing emotional responses follow person-related disappointment that does not surface when outcomes fail to meet expectations. Experiencing disappointment with a partner can lead to feelings of abandonment and a sense that your partner is morally at fault. You may also become disillusioned, realizing that your partner does not uphold the standards you believe were mutually shared. As a result, you might attempt to distance yourself from your significant other. While your feelings of disappointment may have a justifiable basis, your partner genuinely breaches your mutual moral code. Sommerfeld points out that it is also feasible for you to be someone who generally perceives disappointment in numerous relationships. Individuals with high levels of neuroticism tend to experience various negative emotions. Additionally, the insecure attachment may play a role, making you especially susceptible to feelings of abandonment and more likely to interpret your partner's differing opinions as a personal rejection rather than a mere disagreement. Before creating the 6-factor disappointment measure, Sommerfeld initially asked undergraduate participants to recount instances when they felt disappointed by their partners. This provided her with a range of possible scenarios to use in her second study, where she requested participants to indicate how they would feel if such events happened to them. Based on these responses, she developed a series of items that underwent statistical analysis. Ultimately, using the 6 scales, Sommerfeld compared the disappointment scale scores with personality measures derived from the 5-factor model, which includes neuroticism, openness to experience, agreeableness, conscientiousness, and extroversion. Now let's examine the 6-factor scale and consider how you might respond to these sample items related to a recent disappointment involving your partner. 1. Intense emotional turmoil. I felt as if my world had crumbled. 2. Mistrust, resentment, and revulsion towards the other. I suddenly felt no affection for that person. 3. Bewilderment at the other's actions. I truly couldn't comprehend how he or she could do that. 4. Attempts at forgiveness and reconciliation. I tried to determine how we could maintain a good relationship despite what occurred. 5. Concealing emotions. I endeavored to hide my feelings from others. 6. Efforts to generate optimism and move forward. I attempted to comfort myself, and accept what happened. Among these factors, the two positive ones, striving for forgiveness and seeking the silver lining, contrast with the other four, which are more directly related to disappointment. Sommerfeld included these positive aspects because disappointment in a relationship may have a push-pull dynamic when the other person is generally someone you have a positive connection with. Astonishment received the highest average score among all factors, but respondents also scored relatively high on the last factor, which focuses on deriving positivity from experience. With this context, you can understand how personality traits may influence the overall pattern of disappointment scores. Individuals with high neuroticism, prone to experiencing negative emotions, were likelier to agree with the distress factor and less likely to extract something positive from experience. Those with high attachment anxiety and avoidance were also more inclined to agree with items related to distress and mistrust scales. Participants with high avoidance were most likely to attempt to hide their emotions. Sommerfeld highlights the seemingly contradictory aspects of disappointment, such as outrage and forgiveness, and suggests they may accurately represent the core nature of disappointment in close relationships. As she explains, disappointment has the potential to be very emotionally confusing and challenging. However, the influence of personality and attachment on this response indicates that it's not just a specific event that can trigger this internal turmoil. Your personality and typical feelings of relationship security may make you especially vulnerable to feeling let down by your partner. At this point, it's worth considering if it's truly your partner letting you down, or if the event has merely activated your personal anxieties and insecurities. Consequently, the event-provoking disappointment may be more closely related to your mental representation of the relationship than your partner's actions. To facilitate healing and moving forward, Sommerfeld recommends acknowledging that disappointments are inevitable. Additionally, it could be helpful to remind yourself that disappointment can be a two-way street and may disappoint your partner more than you realize. In conclusion, close relationships sometimes leave you frustrated, irritated, and deserted. Accepting disappointment as a natural component of intimacy can assist you in becoming a more empathetic and, ultimately, forgiving partner. Thanks for watching. And until the next video, remember, change your thinking, and you change your life.